blueprint of how they vogue, and I just kept looking, and then I just learned on my own. It wasn't that more important, but I just started liking it, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and then I started doing it.
Word. And who influenced your style?
I think myself influenced it. I didn't want to be completely just girly, because I didn't never feel like I was that cunty completely. So I tried to keep a little masculinity into my Vogue, showing you that I'm still a man at the same time. But at the end of the day, I still love dramatics. So I just felt like, you know, dramatics is in, and it was always in to me. You know, so and then I think that my Vogue got a little hip hop pop into it. You know, pop, lock, and dip and spin. So basically, looking at everybody from the old days, I just made up my own performance, and it came out like that.
Word. Okay, now, have you walked anywhere else in the USA besides New York City?
Walked? No, I performed or did classes in different, you know, countries, but I haven't like vogued I haven't competed against nobody else in another country.
Okay. Well,
everywhere else domestically, yes, but not in another country.
Okay. And in the States, I know you've walked balls in D.C., ATL, Florida.
Oh yeah, I walked in Boston, Connecticut, New York, Jersey, Philly, Baltimore, D.C., North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta. I walked in Dallas. I walked in Houston. I've walked in all over the Midwest, from Chicago to Kentucky to Detroit, L.A., and I'm still missing cities. Probably I've walked in every major city and a lot of cities that's not major when it comes domestically.
Word. Let's talk a little bit about DC ballroom scene history. How did that come into play?
Well, it was when I was born into the ballroom. It was already out, so I can't really say how it came into play, but I know the House of Con was definitely out when I came out, because I don't know what year they started. But as soon as I was going to tracks in '92 and all of that, you know, they was there, you know. And in '90 they was there, you know, because I remember, you know, battling the cons on the floor at the club and all the rest of that. So, you know, that, and then I remember Whitney, yeah, because he was an elite, you know, I remember him there, yes. You know, and that's, if I'm right, he was living there at that time as well, because I know he was from New York, but I know he moved there, he'd been there forever, and he came back. So, yeah, the ballroom, actually, I couldn't tell you how it started, but it was open from the beginning in D.C. when I started.
Word. All right. Shout out to the House of Con, D.C. chapter.
Yeah.
All right. Then you said you moved down with Danielle Revlon to the ATL.
Yeah, no, Danielle never moved there. She was going to move with me. I moved to L.A.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she passed away. So I was going to move to, I wasn't going to even move to Atlanta. My mother moved down there. And I followed my mother anywhere, so that was the reason I moved there. So right. I've been in Atlanta since 1999.
All right. Tell us a little bit about the ATL ballroom history.
Atlanta ballroom history. The Scotters started it. They brought it down there, and they did a great job of bringing it, because everybody started coming to Atlanta for balls because it was hot. It was really, really hot. Word. Then then me and Stewart moved down there, and then that's what made the Rupper bigger, because, you know, we was legends and icons at that time. So, you know, then I became an icon down there. So everything, you know, was about Atlanta, and the competition is great. You know, it's really a big ball for the competition. And yeah, it took by storm, and everybody wanted to come to Atlanta for for Gay Pride Weekend, you know, and all of that. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, you traveled around the world and you've performed and you've done all kinds of things. How did you get into Japan? How did that come along?
Anytime that I perform somewhere, they either hit me up on MySpace from the beginning or now Facebook, and they found me that way. And then they, they ask me what's the booking fees and what is this and have I ever taught somewhere and do this. So then that's when I started flying to different countries teaching or performing. Yeah.
Work. Now, how did Mother Kopi Mizrahi come into play? Mother Japan.
Kopi found me on MySpace.
Wow.
Yeah, she found me on MySpace. We was talking for a minute, and she was like, she wanted to be a vulgar, and she was a woman, and I was like, you vulgar? She was like, yeah. I said, oh, so you? And I didn't really look for where her address was. I was just speaking to her. So she was like, I said, oh, so you live in New York? She was like, no, I live in Japan. I was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, I don't live in the country. And I was like, oh, wow. So, we kept talking or whatever. And then she was like, I'm coming to America. And then I was like, well, you can stay with me. And, that's how I met her. And for the first time, not even knowing her, she came. She stayed with me maybe, that week. She stayed for about a week or two. As soon as she came, she was a Mizrahi completely.
Word.
And she took, Bogan to another, stage when it comes to another country, because if it wasn't for Kopi, it wouldn't be no girls here. Kopi was the first girl to come from, her country to come here and to Vogue and make a name for herself. That's when all the rest of the girls now come. And it's a big up to Kopi, because for a girl by herself to want to come to America just for a competition to show her talent, it's amazing, because I have too many people that's like that. So she definitely started, a new genre of, the Ibises, the ninjas, the extravaganzas, and the Milans. There's so many different houses now coming from other countries, Libasians, and everybody coming from other countries to perform against Americans. And I love competition. It's over, but I have to big it up to my daughter, because she was the first one to, and she was doing this for 2 years before they even started coming. But it's a blessing that they are coming now, and it's over.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, and we also know that Jack Mizrahi is an international commentator of the ballroom scene, and he's also Mizrahi. How did you and Jack Mizrahi establish, a connection?
Jack, my partner in crime, Jack. Jack been a part of me since the first day I opened Mizrahi. Jack was with me completely. He didn't know what he wanted to walk at that time, but he was definitely on my side. And he seen me open the House of Mizrahi. And, at that time, he was always taking photos, because that was his job. So he was definitely taking photos of everything that we did, period. And then, I said, well, won't you walk this or won't you walk that? So then he started walking realness categories. They had trendy realness or athletic realness. And then that later on in life, then he started walking faced with performance, and then he started walking up in drag space. So a lot of people don't know that history of Jack, that he used to walk at first, but then when R.R. Chanel gave him the mic for the first time, that made him, the iconic commentator, as well. And then now, he's big as hell now. He made, a song with Jennifer Lopez. He did Puffy. And there's nothing you can say about his iconic mic experience now. So
yes,
big
congratulations!
Up to Jack.
Shout out to Jack Mizrahi. Now, tell us a little about the Florida ballroom scene. You've walked in Florida.
Yeah, I've walked in Florida many a time years ago. I haven't walked in Florida lately, but I did say if possible, I'm gonna try to grace a floor before my ball in Florida. Again, I said I might just do that just because Florida was always a pretty state. It was always a state that I did love. It was always a state that I didn't go to a lot, but I did go. So I said, you know what? And I felt that as much as Florida do for the community, I feel that we should do something back to make the balls a little bigger in a state like Florida. So I was like, well, I do want to give a ball down. So, I met with the I had my daughter Sierra meet with the alliance down there to see if they would accept, because I'm not the type that's just going to go into your city and just think that I'm more powerful than anybody to give something in Florida, that's not me. So if they accept it, then I will do it. So they did accept it, and I thank Florida for accepting me to have a ball down there. And yeah, so now I'm having a ball in July down there.
Yeah.
But I love Florida.
I'm excited. And shout out to Sierra Mizrahi, by the way. She's been hitting me up. She's ecstatic to be on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I wanted to say was how did the Florida Mizrahi Ballroom Kids come about? How did that come into play? How did that establish?
The Florum Ballroom Kids. How did it start? You saying?
Yeah. How did that chapter establish? Did it come from New York?
Well, it started with James Mizrahi. I don't know if you know James Mizrahi.
Okay. Shout out to James Mizrahi.
Yeah, he was the one that basically, was the first partner down there, and we started with him, and gave him the opportunity. He used to walk face. He don't really come out too much no more. And yeah, we went with him, and Raymond, and they basically, found kids and started it down there. And it kept going, and then he, with his career, and he was doing whatever he wanted to do, and he didn't have too much time for ballroom. He was always a Mizrahi, he still is. So that's when we found new parents to take over, to let the legacy continue. And,
That is a wonderful thing because, without all the houses coming together, migrating in different states around the country and around the world, ballroom wouldn't be international today. So, it's a great privilege to have you on the show and give Florida their big ups and put them on the map on the show as well. Shout out to Florida Chapter Mizrahis. I love when they come out to the balls. I love all the houses anyway. It's one of my childhood things that I love to do. Now, are we still going to be letting everyone walk with talent now, or are we gonna because I see there's a lot of changes and a lot of things that are going on in the politics side of ballroom. I hear there's gonna be a change and things are gonna be getting changed for the better.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm trying my best ability to change ballroom for the better. We always things that goes on that we don't like, and we have different. You're always gonna have different personalities with the icon. But I love to agree to disagree. So if we can definitely agree to disagree, I think it can get better. And I'm here for the betterness. I'm not going to ever move and stop trying to make ballroom better. For our new generation to help guide the kids, that's coming forth that love ballroom.
Now, I remember Vanessa was a mother for Florida Chapter Mizrahi first, no?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was with James at one time. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
That's right. All right. Now, there's a lot of things going on. I want to talk a little bit more about this ball that you're throwing soon. But real quick, we want to go to a little bit of the politics side real quick. Because there's a lot of stirring the pot when it comes to talking about this whole statement and star thing. There's a little rumor going around saying that we don't know whether a statement comes first or a star comes first. So I just wanted to confirm it, get it cleared up on the air. What actually comes first? Is it a statement or a star? Because just to clear the record on the little rumor out there.
Yes, clear the record. It's star, then the statement.
Okay. Y'all got that, kids? Star, then a statement, then a legend, then an icon pioneer. Am I correct? Andre, you there?
Third. Then legend for a category is fourth. Then legendary, meaning you are legendary all around for many things, is five. And then you have icon, that's six. You only hear star, statement, legend, and icon, but they definitely have legendary and they have up and coming. You just don't hear it that much.
Okay. All right. So one more again, let's go through that list once again for those who...
There's star, statement, up and coming legend, legendary, and iconic.
All right.
And really and after iconic is the pioneer. So that's the deal.
Okay. And now there's this whole big thing and this whole big scramble about, legendary statuses in the ballroom scene. What does it really take to be deemed a legend, an icon, a status? What does it really take to get to all of these different?
You just come out. You are. It,